Hello. Welcome. Dare I say it? It's good to have you. Fingers crossed you can hear me. I might have to talk a little bit louder. Let's see. This is my first time using OBS for anything outside of streaming, and even when I streamed, I imagine it didn't go great for the viewer. Please let me know if this is just terrible. Like, if you hate this, I totally get it. Fingers crossed I'm able to upload this. I think I figured it out, but I'm not terribly confident. But yeah, I thought rather than hearing me ramble and rant about Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, why not hear the Indianapolis coach do that? I'm going to play that. We're going to react. I'm going to give my thoughts. Why not just get the words straight out of the blue horse's mouth? So we will do that now.
All right, I'll start off by letting everyone know that Daniel Jones will be our starting quarterback this season. I thought the competition in training camp was great by both of those guys. I thought both competed really hard. And it was good to see them cheering for each other and battling the way they did. And you guys heard me talk about the consistency, and that's really what I was looking for. And really the operation at the line of scrimmage, the checks, the protection, the ball placement, the completion percentage. I think all that played a factor in it. I think Daniel did a great job doing that, and I think AR has made strides in that area, but I do feel that, we still need to continue to develop in those areas, and had a chance.
Okay. So obviously, that's an important aspect of quarterback play, right? Consistency, ball placement, checks at the line, all important things. But with the exception of maybe ball placement, and let's not act like Daniel Jones is great at ball placement either. Like, I've seen AR, like, when he completes passes, they're at guys' shoulder, like the correct shoulder. They're where guys want them. But again, let's not act like Daniel Jones is some consistent hero ball, like pocket passing elite quarterback. And I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is an elite quarterback either, but Daniel Jones was always going to win this if that was your qualifications. If that's what you're looking for. Your calls at the line, your cadence. He mentions cadence later. Your consistency, right? I mean, Daniel Jones has been consistently bad, but it's been consistent since he's came into the NFL, with the exception of 1 year, and even still, he wasn't that good. His yak, or the giant yak, I should say, rack, yak, whatever. Runs after catch, yards out, whatever. It was like top of the NFL. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback, and hell, Anthony Richardson probably isn't either. But if that's what you're looking for, why did you draft him? Why draft one of the rawest quarterback prospects we've truly ever seen? Someone who had a COVID year while in high school, someone who dealt with injuries while in college and was at a Florida program that was not very well run at the time, someone who didn't play a ton in college because of those injuries and subsequently was not able to learn, and someone who is still incredibly young, mentally unprepared as he's still fairly new to this. Why would you draft somebody to do those veteran things, to do calls at the line, to do consistency, to be accurate, well, I guess to be consistent, to be accurate, to have good cadence, to call out the blitzer, call out the mic, like those are all things that come with time. Why draft Anthony Richardson? I mean, I went back and watched some of the interviews at the time of the 2023 draft about when some of the beat reporters were asking, hey, what are you looking for in a quarterback? Are you planning on taking a quarterback? And the answer was always yes. But when they said they were taking a quarterback, they mentioned consistency. Like, they mentioned this. Consistency, hardworking, cadence traits. Chris Ballard is a big traits guy, and I think that's probably what got Anthony drafted. But consistency, traits, just an ability to run the offense. Doesn't necessarily mean at an elite level, but the ability to be just sort of a game manager. So at least I know I personally was surprised when they took Anthony. Obviously, the the whole organization is just full of two-faced liars. If we're being totally honest, I have a hard time taking serious anything out of these guys' mouth. This clown especially. But if that's what you're looking for, AR had no chance to win. That's not something you can improve just over a summer when you're working on your, you know, fundamentals. And by all reports, that's what they told him to work on. They didn't say, hey, you need to work on your cadence at the line. You need to work on calling out blitzes. You need to work on adjusting guys around. You need to work on, changing the play to a more better, accurate play that will get better results. Reportedly, they didn't tell him he needed to do any of that. Reportedly, what they told him is he needed to work on the things that we all thought he needed to work on. Short passes, consistency, staying healthy, staying in shape, preparing the right way, which to some extent goes into that consistency. But just the things we thought of. But if this is what you were looking for, don't lie to us and say, hey, this is a 50-50 quarterback battle. Performance will decide who wins all. Because Anthony Richardson was better. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I apologize. But don't say this is an open quarterback competition when you're looking for this. Because a veteran is going to win this every time over a young, raw kid. Much less one that's as young and as raw as Anthony. Alright? He gives a reason later for why this is good, and I'm going to rail him for it, but we'll keep going. It's a long interview.
Both of them this morning, they were both great. AR was great. He knows that he still needs to develop and learn in those areas, and he knows that he's one play away. Let those go.
When he says one play away, he means one play away from Jones going down and him playing.
Let the team know this morning. The team's very supportive of Daniel, but also supportive of AR and his new.
A lot of the guys are evidently pissed.
He's got to attack it the right way, and then we'll go from there.
Shane, how long of a leash will Jones have?
Look, he's our starting quarterback for the season. I don't want to have a quick leash. I feel confident in his.
Shane, why was it important for you to make that decision right now?
Well, I think, we got 3 weeks for our first game, and I think it's fair to the team that they know who their starting quarterback's going to be. And
I agree with that. On the short leash thing, sorry, I was waiting for him to be done. I don't know why. I thought he tied that answer into this answer. I believe Daniel Jones is going to have a long leash because Daniel Jones is never going to play like, holy shit, that's the worst performance I've ever seen from a quarterback levels of bad. He's going to be consistently like low 60%, 1 turnover, 1 touchdown, maybe 30 rushing yards, 200 passing yards. Like, he'll give you that every week. He's going to be on a long leash because that should be, at the very least, what they expect. If they expect something else, then then they're dumb. They're dumber than even I thought. But, and I was thinking while we were watching this, back to the point about a veteran always winning this. If that's what you're looking for, you obviously know a veteran is going to win this. Why not go out and sign Sam Darnold? Why not go out and sign Justin Fields? Why not go out and trade for Geno Smith? Somebody who gives you an actual chance to do something better. Because, it's not like we would do anything substantially better with Joe Burrow, much less, Geno Smith. Like, this team just isn't great. But if you're looking for wins and a veteran presence, somebody who can run your offense, somebody who can hit the layups and be a game manager, why spend $13 million on Daniel Jones? Go get Sam Darnold. You have the money for it. Like, if this is your big swing in the AFC, if this is your big swing, it's a swing and a miss. If it's a hit, you maybe got to first base, but it was a close call. The ump had to call you safe. Like, the best thing that'll come from this is the playoffs. Maybe if you sign a Sam Darnold, maybe it's second round, third round, maybe you get a conference championship or make it to the conference championship, who knows, right? This team is not going to the Super Bowl. With Daniel Jones, what you're likely going to go is 8-9. With Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, you might go 11, 10 games won. If a veteran was always going to win this, I just don't understand why you'd sign Daniel Jones.
Reps this week in practice and the following week and getting into game week. So there's just clarity at that position.
Shane, how do you weigh?
I don't take an issue with him announcing it by this point. In fact, I think he should have done it earlier. Or until after the third preseason game.
Playmaking versus the other duties of the quarterback, which you just outlined, and how did you resolve that?
Yeah, I think consistency, operation, moving the ball, being consistent on a daily basis. I think Daniel Jones, has done that. I think, that year they went to the playoffs. He was one game away from an NFC Championship game and making the right decisions, and his completion percentage, I think that keeps us on track. So that's a big part of it. Obviously, you want to see the big plays. I think Daniel Jones is capable of that as well.
He's not. He's not. And this will be a common theme throughout this interview. They will bring up that 2022 Daniel Jones season multiple times. The big plays were not by Daniel Jones. I think the longest pass he had that season was like 30, 40 yards. Like, he is a dink-doink offense guy who's going to just hit the check down, hit the short out route every time. Like, if you're running with him, it's going to be exclusively an RPO, maybe a run-pass-run offense, right? Run-pass-run involves quarterback runs. There's no big plays to be had with Daniel Jones. Like, we saw that. When we was young, there was a little bit there. But guys can scheme and game plan around that if you're chucking it short every time. Right? Like, there's a reason those Giants teams were so ass, and it's not because of the O-line. It's because Daniel Jones can't hit a deep ball. We saw this in preseason. We saw this in training camp. Daniel Jones is not going to give you those big plays, and the consistency he gives you is not good consistency. So basically what he's saying is he doesn't really care about performance so much as it is he just doesn't want to look embarrassed. Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts brought up a really good point of this is him, Shane Steichen, betting more on himself than it is on Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. Because if Daniel Jones messes up, that's easy to predict, right? Because if Daniel Jones messes up terribly more than he already does, it's probably because you made a bad call as coach. If Anthony Richardson messes up, you don't know if it's because his shoulder snapped or the sun was in his eyes or maybe he was tired. It's easier to predict what's going to happen with Daniel Jones, so that way you can predict how your offense will work through him, than it will with Anthony. So it's betting on his talent because he knows to some minor extent Daniel Jones will get it done. Like, it's very, coach's kid type thing.
You think you all can win with Daniel when his career record isn't good, and the lessons don't play football for the Giants and wasn't good?
Listen to this answer. I almost threw my laptop through a wall.
I think that he's proven that he's played good football in that 2022 season.
It is 2025. We are a couple months away from it being 2026. That team had Saquon Barkley, a bunch of good receivers, and a quarterback who did not play very well. He had like 25 passing touchdowns and a shit ton of QB sneaks to get the rest of those rushing touchdowns. Was he a decent rusher at the time? Yeah. Was he terribly efficient? Meh. Is he the reason that team was so good? No. Alright, I can hit a check down to Saquon Barkley, or I don't actually remember who. I'm blanking on who was. OBJ might have still been there. I'm blanking on who was on the team during that time. But if I have guys who can get me 10, 15 yards rack every time, then yeah, I could be the starting quarterback for that team and be fine. Am I as tall as Bryce Young? I'm a little bit taller. But I could be the starting quarterback and be fine. Even still, there has been multiple injuries since then. So, like, part of what made him so successful during that season was his rushing ability. But he's had a torn ACL, multiple neck injuries that have made him adverse to contact, which, hey, fair enough. My neck hurts and I have a hard time sleeping, much less playing football. So why do we expect him to get back to that level from 3 years ago?
He had a hell of a year that year. I think that was the highest completion rate in Giants franchise history that season. So he's proven to do it. I know he's had his ups and
I think that was like 65%. Like, it wasn't anything great.
downs, but everyone's journey is different and feel confident in his abilities.
And I think there's another level for Jones to kind of get to still.
I'll answer that, no, but that's a fair question by Jake Arthur.
I think so. I mean, he's going into, year 6, year 7. I think, keep guys continue to grow
If this is true, then why bench AR?
in their process with everything. And I think the guys have taken to him. He's
Evidently not. Quentin Nelson has said he's outright upset. Quentin Nelson is not a vocal dude. If he's upset, you know shit's gone wrong.
a communicator with the guys. You can see that veteran presence out there. So excited for that.
That consistency operationally that you just referenced, was it a significant difference between Daniel and Anthony, or was it close?
I mean, I think it was close. I think, Dan.
Then why not go with the guy who's going to give you higher highs? If the consistency's close, even if Anthony's a little bit worse, that's a fine level of consistency if you believe Daniel Jones has a high level of consistency. If Anthony's is even a little bit worse, I take Anthony because he gives me that upside. I take Anthony because he gives me that chance to win. I take Anthony because if he's improved that consistency to even a Daniel Jones level, that's not bad. Like, that'll improve. Like, if Anthony can consistently throw 55%, yeah, I take that over Daniel Jones. I do. But if consistency's close, I take the absolute 6'4" tank of a human being who has the arm of Jesus Bartholomew Christ rather than Daniel Jones. Because the 6'4" tank with the arm of Jesus Bartholomew Christ is going to give you a better chance to win, especially if the consistency is a similar level.
Ahead of him there. Like I said, I think there's still room for, AR to grow. I mean, he's 23 years old.
There needs to be more nuance than just, Daniel Jones was a bit more consistent.
He's still learning, still win, and for the first time in his career, this is an opportunity for him to sit at the start of the season.
Why haven't you done that in the past years?
And learn in a different light, and attack it.
He's been injured for most of his career. He's been sitting and learning. You have not been doing a good job teaching him, evidently.
Shane's a Baltimore player, actually got sacked on his other player, where you grow from him.
Yeah, that's not the deciding factor, but that's one of those things where you got to learn and grow from that, and we'll go from there.
What do the next 3 weeks look like for Daniel?
Well, coming up, obviously, with the preseason game, the starters aren't going to play in this game. Daniel nor AR will play. It'll be Riley and Bean. I want to get these threes going. It's their last opportunity. We're pretty banged up right now, so I want to get these guys healthy for week 1 and get these guys going. But this week for him, obviously, we'll get this like a normal game week for us. We'll get all the reps, obviously, with the ones, and then next week, we got cut down day. And then we got 2 good days of practice before we have the little 3-day weekend before we start.
Shane, just how delicate is this in terms of how you handle this with Anthony and how you explain it to him? Because you asked him to compete, he did compete, we saw practice every day. He, at minimum, it was a push. So just what was your message to him? Because he could argue he did what you asked him to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, he handled it great. We sat down in my office this morning and talked, and I said, hey, here's the things that, you need to keep improving on. Things I hit earlier, about the
You need to be able to call out blitzes. Okay, coach, thanks for teaching me how to do that.
see, and he agreed. He's like, yeah, I got room for growth there. And I said, hey, you're 1 play away. And he told me the same thing. He's like, you're right, I am 1 play away. So I'm going to attack it the right way.
He's just secretly in the locker room, just like making like the devil star in his locker, just kill Daniel Jones. No, I'm kidding. By all reports, he's a super nice guy, and I genuinely believe he would, go in and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I do need to improve. I'm 1 play. Like, he's a really good dude. Like, he's young, immature, but from everything I've seen, he's a great guy. So I do believe that.
And then if something happened to Daniel, he's got to be ready to go.
Shane, you guys said that Daniel had a long leash. The last year you made the switch, you had starters on the team asking for Anthony to come back, leaders on the team. So, I guess, how are you prepared to handle that, if that happens again this year?
Yeah, they said Anthony had a long leash and then benched him. They said Flacco would be the starter for the rest of the season. He played 2 games, benched him. Hopefully that's what happens if Daniel Jones is just completely terrible. If you're making a decision like this, obviously you have to say he has a long leash. But I guess we'll see if he does. But the track their track record isn't great.
Come back, leaders on the team. So I guess how are you prepared to handle that? If that happens again this year.
Yeah, that's a hypothetical question.
Yeah, most questions are because they're about the future, mate.
Got there, but I feel confident in Daniel's ability to lead us.
Do you have any regrets about Anthony's development? You guys
Also, it's not hypothetical, it's asking about your history.
had him for 2 years.
Ability to lead us.
Do you have any regrets about Anthony's development? You guys have had him for 2 years. This is his third year. Just not growing enough in some of those consistency areas.
Yeah, I think part of that is, we threw him into the fire early as a rookie and had some injuries.
Which you said would help him with that. You pled patience, saying, hey, he will get better at those things by playing. Where's that now?
And been battling some injuries, and I think that's all part of the development of his game. I think everyone's journey's different, and for the first time this is an opportunity for him to sit and learn. He's 23 years old, and if his number gets called at any point in the season.
So a total non-answer. He has no regrets. He's been perfect. Yeah, he started, we threw him into the fire, he got hurt, now he's sitting. So yeah, he's developing.
I believe he'll be ready to roll.
Shane, does Anthony more brother think on the field or off?
I think he's doing a great job of both.
Then play him.
He's a young guy. He's continued to grow and mature in every aspect of his life, and I've seen that, and I think that's only going to continue to develop.
So where does he need to grow?
Then why would you not play him if it's continuing to develop? If you truly believe he improves at those consistency things you mentioned at the beginning by on the field, because that's what you've said for years, put him on the field.
Every aspect of his life, and I've seen that, and I think that's only going to continue to develop.
So where does he need to grow?
Like I said, the consistency, the line of scrimmage stuff, I think he's doing a good job with his preparation, continue to grow in the preparation part. I think that's all a factor.
Again, you said that happens on the field. You begged us to accept mediocrity at best because it meant he was improving at those things, because he was on the field.
Continue to grow in the preparation part. I think that's all a factor.
You get enough reps in practice and tangible you run in those areas?
Yeah, I think so. I think
No, he would have gotten more, it would have been better if his logic is to be believed, and there's aspects of it that I do believe, if his logic is to be believed, getting him a shit ton of reps is only going to improve that. Splitting them with Daniel Jones? I don't take issue with having a quarterback competition, and I don't even take issue with them saying Anthony Richardson's not the guy. But your messaging surrounding this is just terrible, man.
see some of these guys come in the league and they sit for a couple years. They attack it the right way. I think you got to have a growth mindset when you're in those meetings, even though you're not the guy, knowing that you're one play away and attacking the practices the right way and still preparing yourself as if you are the starter.
When you all drafted AR, it was obviously viewed as, okay, this is the future of our team. We're going to get behind this guy. For Daniel's a one-year deal. Do you view him as your future quarterback beyond just?
They're going to say yes. I doubt it. They're trying to save their job. Shane Steichen is on the hot seat. Been 3 years of trash. He's gotten worse every year. Well, this is year 3. It's been 2 years of trash and just nothing really good coming from his tenure. This supposed offensive elite coach has failed to develop a quarterback that, if he were developed, would be really dang good. Chris Ballard, been here for almost a decade. Made the playoffs once and never won a playoff game. Actually, that's not true. We won one and then just got wiped out. Wiped out. It's been over almost a decade since Andrew Luck retired. He's on a hot seat, and he should be. People have been calling for his head since 2020.
Do you view him as a quarterback for?
Well, I think
Do you view him as your the future?
if you are the starter.
I'm sorry, I'm going to rewind just if I stop during the middle of the question so we can hear the question.
When you all drafted AR, it was obviously viewed as, okay, this is the future of our team. We're going to get behind this guy. For Daniel's a one-year deal. Do you view him as your like future quarterback beyond just this season, or do you view him as a quarterback for right
Well, I
now?
think let's see how the season goes. You know, if he plays really well for us, then there's a conversation after the season.
He's not going to be able to play really well for you because he's not playing.
Let's see how the season goes. You know, if he plays really well for us, then there's a conversation after the season.
It sounds like you're looking at this in a vacuum, like the future is not a consideration here. Is that fair to say?
Well, I think this league is a year-to-year league, and what do I
So yes.
is best for the Indianapolis Colts in 2025? And I
So yes. No, it's what is best for Shane Steichen.
make these decisions. That's what I get paid to do, and I got to go with what I feel is right.
From the outside, I think it might be hard for fans to see like the connection between stuff that sounds behind the scenes in the field. But to be clear, like when you're talking about consistency and preparation and stuff, that affects how a quarterback plays on game day, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I think AR is
Paid plug. Just hey, random interviewer, we're gonna give you $30 cash, Coles cash, because the Colts would absolutely give Coles cash. I feel like this guy right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I feel like this guy right here just has so much Coles cash he's just doling out. We'll give you $30 Coles cash if you ask us the easiest softball question ever.
strides in those areas. He's continued to develop and grow as a young player, and I think he'll continue to do that. You know, Daniel's obviously a veteran player that's been around.
Been around like 6-7 years. Horrible record, horrible stats.
Sat behind Eli Manning and seen,
So,
you know, done the right way. So that's kind of where it's at.
Do you see a future here for Anthony as a starter? I said that because,
his agent doesn't.
just quite frankly, when you do you see a future here for Anthony as a starter? I said that because, just quite frankly, when you usually when players are benched twice, top 10 picks, they don't usually pan out the same franchise.
Yeah, that's
When players are benched once in their top 10 picks, very rarely do they ever pan out.
hard to say. Obviously, Daniel's our starter right now, and if something happened to Daniel
Also, this is a terrible answer by him, by the way.
at some point, like AR's, you know, another opportunity.
So if nothing happens to Daniel, AR doesn't have a future?
You mentioned there was a lot of, you guys have had discussions leading into this decision, which was yours, the final say. Was there much like debate going into who should be the quarterback?
Like, I'll keep all those conversations.
No, I genuinely believe that with the requirements or with the attributes they were looking for, Anthony had no chance. We all thought it would be performance. Apparently not. I think as soon as you sign Daniel Jones, you know it's going to be Daniel Jones. Because I'll tell you what, Anthony played better in camp. He did. He just simply did. With both the first and second teams, and played better in preseason. He just did. It's evident it's not performance-based. Like,
Private.
there's no need to keep those conversations private because clearly the answer is no. You're benching the guy who played better for Daniel Jones. All right? If there was debates, it's how do we answer our dumb decision of starting Daniel Jones? How do we justify it? Not, hey, who's going to help us, more in our potential versatile run game? Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson? Who's going to help Adonai Mitchell's development? Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson? You grabbed a veteran knowing that he would start. That's my take.
I met with Carly and I met with Chris yesterday, and
Also, why does the GM have a say in this? Why does the owner have a say in this? You're the coach. Decide on your own.
the decision. And then again, met with the team this morning, let them know. And those guys are going to be supportive of whoever's out there under center.
Shane, ever since you guys drafted Anthony, you and them as the front office really stressed patience with him. Because to be frank, when you bench him for a second time, it kind of looks on the outside like you guys have lost patience with him. Is that fair?
I'd argue they weren't patient with him.
Well, I think everyone's development's different. You know,
Hey, have you guys been patient with him? You've told us to be patient. We've suffered through 2 years of just complete fuckery. So, what's going on? Are you not being patient with him? Are you just done? Well, everybody's different.
he's a young player. He's 23 years old. He's continuing to mature and grow up, and I've seen strides in that, and he's going to continue to do that.
Shane, I know you don't care about marketing. I'm sorry. Shane, I know you don't care too much about marketing at all, but are you aware, do you care, that Colts fans, from what we can hear in the vacuum of social media, they're very, very, very much behind Richardson. Do you care?
No, he doesn't care. He wants to keep his job.
Look, I got it.
Every Colts fan hates this current staff, this establishment. God rest his soul, Jim Irsay was not a good owner. There are people, and justifiably so, who maybe not were excited about his passing, but were excited about to see where the team would go post-passing. Obviously, I wish his daughters, like, I'm not even saying that's me. Obviously, I wish his daughters well. Obviously, I wish him well, wherever he may be. But you evidently don't care about the fans, because if you did, you'd start Anthony, and you wouldn't be here.
Respect for our fans.
Not even just him. I don't think the team cares about the fans, because they wouldn't be raising ticket prices. They wouldn't have these two clowns on. I say two clowns. Chris Ballard's, he didn't do an interview for this, but he's the GM. But you obviously don't care about the fans because they'd be gone. Alright, I don't believe the last owner did. I don't believe the owner before that did. Alright? You don't care about the fans. Just come out and say it.
Phenomenal fans, and they're privy to their, opinions and their thoughts, and I
But they're wrong.
respect that. And I think
No, you don't.
today, as the coach, I got to do what I feel is best, for the Colts this season.
You're wrong, honestly.
When you look at Donald and Mayfield, do you see that as a template for Daniel Jones?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you've seen it around the league. You know what I mean? I feel confident in his abilities,
Daniel Jones is the next Kurt Warner.
To lead us. Like I said, seen it done in 2022 season. He's proven to do it.
I've seen it done in the 2020. Fuck off. Like, fuck off.
This is another opportunity for him to do it.
Because how do you all sell Anthony on his future here when he doesn't really know
Sorry.
when the next opportunity might come? And in theory, it won't come if Daniel Jones stays healthy.
Yeah, I think part of that is just trusting the process of saying,
Why would they trust the process? Or, excuse me, why would he trust the process? You've done a shit job developing him. You've done a shit job building around him. You've done a shit job being patient with him. Why would he trust you? Like his agent said, there's no reason to trust you guys. He didn't say that. He said there's basically a breach of trust. But why would he trust you at all? Why would he trust the process when the process for the past decade has been terrible?
I'm still developing and I'm growing and I got to attack this thing the right way because I never know when my number's going to get called.
Yeah, I gotta trust the process of improving. He did, and you did nothing. You did nothing. You benched him for the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
I think that's all part of it. And, you're going to go through ups and downs and adversity
Yeah, apparently you're not willing to go through it with him.
throughout your career, and how you handle it really speaks about the true character of who you are as a person.
Like, if Flacco played well, if Flacco looked functional, we wouldn't have seen Anthony again.
And I think he's only, growing in those areas.
Why do you think he hasn't been able to, develop the way you all maybe envisioned a few years ago? And what role do you think he played in maybe not getting to that point?
Yeah.
He's not going to take any blame.
Part of it, a big part of it is, he's been injured, and I think that's part of it. And when you're not practicing and playing, it's hard to, go out there and do the things you want.
But then, he ends up saying, oh, well, yeah, sitting, he'll learn that way. Well, he's been injured. He has been sitting. Well, he'll learn.
So part of that is, staying healthy.
When you get into the season, Anthony, you were on the scout team.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you sense that Daniel Jones is a leader on this team from what you've seen?
No. The whole team has asked for Anthony Richardson in the past. It's evident that so many of the guys are pissed.
Yeah, I think he's a veteran guy that's been around the block and seen it.
That doesn't imply he's a good leader.
Things.
Joe Flacco has been around for 30 years, however old he is. Joe Flacco has been around since the dawn of time. Not a good leader.
Seeing how he interacts with his teammates and how they've taken to him and how he's taken to them, I think he's done a really nice job, and I think the guys are excited for his opportunity.
They're upset about his opportunity. They've literally said it. I can only imagine what they said behind the scenes.
Do you feel like this is the way you should have approached it this rookie year, giving him the opportunity to sit and watch?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, we drafted him where we drafted him for a reason, at the 4th overall pick because of the talent. And, we got thrown into the fire and, you know what, he ended up getting injured, you know what I mean?
So I'm not going to take any fault. No, I did nothing wrong. I'm totally in the right.
Go back on those situations and look at it and where we're at as a football team and draft them that high and put them in that situation to go out and go through the lumps and the bruises of, a rookie quarterback and then, obviously, get injured week 4,
So rather than benching him behind a quarterback, that's better than Daniel Jones as a rookie. You'll bench him as a third-year player who needs desperately to develop behind Daniel Jones.
Wasn't ideal.
Shane, you talk about the ups and downs of being a quarterback. What do you say to people who might say, well, Daniel hasn't had a good season since 2022?
Nothing. He's like, well, he played well in 2022, so, I bet he's going to do it again. Doesn't matter that he got shut down for Drew Lock. I bet he's going to do well again.
I think that, he's proven that. I think
See?
the behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't see with Daniel Jones is his
Who cares about the behind-the-scenes stuff if it doesn't equate on the football field?
work ethic, the way he connects with his teammates.
I don't care if he works hard. It's not equating to anything good.
Operational stuff, like I said at the start of this thing.
Operational stuff. Fuck off.
In the huddle, the communication, the checks, all that.
All are important, but how do you learn it? According to you, it's by playing.
And I think we got a good group around him. Overall, our football team, offense.
It's the same group as last year. The exact same offensively.
The weapons
In fact, it's gotten worse.
we have,
Sorry, we lost 2 O-linemen last pause.
that I feel that he can be successful.
Shane, what ways do you feel like as a staff you didn't get Anthony to the line of scrimmage level that you needed to?
Well, I think, there's everyone's development's different.
I do nothing wrong.
And I think the injury was a big part of it.
It's Anthony's fault. It's Anthony's fault. We can't teach him when he's sitting, so we're gonna sit him and hope we can teach him then.
And then still keeping him engaged, that first year, and then obviously go.
He evidently was very engaged. Like, everybody on the team said it. He was captain, for God's sakes.
The second year was a part of it. I think the injuries played a factor in it, but also still,
He went through the second year because you never taught him during the first.
Cam's done a really good job. I think Jim's
No, he has not. Cam's the QB coach.
done a good job.
Jim Bob is shithouse. If he was good, he'd tell you, he would take away play calling from you. Like, if you're better than him, Jim Bob's not good. Alright? That's like saying Daniel Jones. It's like, you're the Daniel Jones in this situation. If Jim Bob is not calling plays because you're calling plays, Jim Bob's not good.
Keeping them engaged. And again, like I go back to everyone's development's different
If that's true, then why was he supposedly not engaged the first and second year?
in this process.
But is there any contradiction in saying that he does need that development, but also a lot of the development comes with playing?
Yes, there is contradiction in that, especially because you said that development comes with playing.
Yeah.
Is there any contradiction there?
No, that's a great question. I think part of that is, you guys heard me say that, you get better by more reps. And I think, bringing Daniel Jones in, to the competition, it was an open competition.
Literally cut his reps in half. I don't even disagree with bringing in competition, but that quite literally cut his reps in half.
And, Daniel Jones is going to be our starting quarterback. So now he's in it.
So now he's not going to get NFL reps.
Light, for the first
The same light he was in when he sat for injuries.
time in his career to sit back and see Daniel Jones,
He sat for all but 2 games of his first year.
but still prepare as if he's the starter, knowing that he's one play away.
You mentioned the injuries.
He did that last year.
Henry, is he still in meetings? Isn't he still learning?
Yeah.
Cook.
So I guess where is the growth now where he's back in the meetings again and he's not on the field?
Cook. You're asking the question we all are.
Well, I think you still got to get the mental reps in the meeting.
You can get the mental reps in the meeting, but are 3 years of mental reps not enough? Well, I guess 2 years now. Are 2 years of mental reps not enough? Was he not in the prior meetings? Are the rumors about guys skipping meetings true?
And day out, I think that's part of the development. And then when you are on the scout team, I think you can still work on your fundamentals and your technique. And
Yeah, I mean, you can do that starting, and you'll get more reps and more ways to learn. Because according to you, you learn on the field.
through it and going after the defense, on the scout team. I think that's all.
Oh yeah, the fourth string defense on the scout team. The guy's barely able to make the team. Yeah, Chris Lamons is really going to put up a challenge.
Shane, the eyeball test, and also Carly just said to us about a month ago, says that you guys need to start winning or doing Chris and I being around forever. So how much of that play a role when we go for Daniel right now?
That was the whole decision.
I think this league is year to year, and you got to do
So your time hopefully is year to year as well.
feels best, for this football team.
So I don't get fired.
And I got a lot of confidence in the guys in that locker room. I got a lot of confidence.
Evidently they don't have confidence in you because they've hated most of your quarterback decisions.
We've been close, but I think the problem.
We have not been close. We barely lost to the Texans to get a wild card game. Outside of that, we have never been close since the Phillip Rivers year, and that was a COVID year.
Important than the results, knowing that our daily habits and our discipline and our toughness will lead to that success. And so that's really where my focus is at.
Shane, I know you're last one here for all of this, but ever since in 2019 this team has brought in veteran quarterbacks that last less than a year, and then you're looking for the next one. I guess what would you say to fans who are wondering why this one would be different?
It's not.
That's a great question. I can't answer that.
Yeah, because it won't be different. It will probably be worse. It'll be better than Matt Ryan, but that's a low bar.
For 2 years, but what I'll say is I like Daniel Jones and his
Cool. You like Gardner Minshew. You liked Anthony Richardson enough to pick him fourth.
ability and the consistency that I believe he can bring to this football team.
My views of the Colts be like, I'm just so sick of this fucking team.
So you guys had a pretty important decision
Development coach.
to make, obviously, in your position group. What led you to get to Daniel Jones after, a kind of a lengthy quarterback battle?
Yeah, I think the consistency is the big thing that shows up.
I love he hesitates. Crap, what was the messaging Shane give?
Just his approach, his operation at the line, consistent accuracy, and
Anthony was consistently better than Daniel Jones.
our decision making. He did a good job all throughout camp.
And I mean, obviously, he's been in the league quite a bit longer than Anthony has. What was there any ground Anthony could have made to kind of level that out to be the right choice as well? Or
No.
does that just come with the territory of being a multi-year guy like that?
Yeah, he definitely has, years experience, time on task ahead of Anthony. Throughout college, throughout the NFL, and
Is that not further proof he never had a chance?
the things that he's seen, he's adjusted to, he's already executed. Anthony has not at this point, with only a few years of reps and games, and
So why is that a fair qualification?
Anthony's made huge strides since he's been here
Apparently not enough.
in practice and throughout games, and you see it. You see the development and the improvement.
Yeah, we do. He's improved to the point of being better than Daniel Jones.
But I do think he'll get there. I think he'll keep continuing to develop,
You guys have said you develop by being on the field.
learning from Daniel.
What is the plan for Anthony? And I say that
There's not a plan.
because he's been benched twice now, and usually when guys get benched twice with the franchise, they don't come back and have success with the same team.
Yeah, I mean, the plan for him is to continue to develop.
We're gonna beat the trend.
He still has a job, a role, responsibility, which is our backup quarterback, and he has to be prepared to do that. And then my job is to help develop him and continue
Well, you're great at your job then. Pay raise.
to grow because he is so young. We don't want to give up on him. We want to keep growing, continuing to learn, and developing as a quarterback.
And you say what your role is. Can you explain what that is? I think some people might be a little naive to what does a quarterback's coach actually do?
I mean, teach them day to day, execute the drills, the game plan, implement the game plan within practice, drills, and then development, of young guys, even vets, just the day to day development and learning.
So you are perfect at your job then.
Quarterback position.
Can you share anything about what Daniel may or may have done to like sort of establish himself? Because whether he knew he was going to be started or not, you still have to like establish that inherent leadership role as a quarterback and those kinds of things. Are there small things that he did that demonstrated that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, right when he came in, I mean, you guys have talked to Daniel. He's really quiet, but he is a leader. He came in here and
So's AR. He's literally the captain.
and worked and got to know and earned respect, learned the playbook, learned his teammates. So he did a great job of that from the day he got here.
When Anthony, you guys said the line of scrimmage, what specifically can you do in meetings when he's not getting as many reps in games? Obviously, he's doing scout team reps. What can you do in meetings?
Sure, there's a
Specifically. Important question, good question. Because he's been in these meetings, and apparently it's done nothing.
lot of things within the offense, any offense, where
So, yeah, I know you said specifically, but he needs to improve. He just needs to be better,
it's timing of motions, it's when you use your cadence, when you use the hard count, double cadence, which plays to do it on, which plays not to do it on, and
very basic things you learn on the field.
which is that learning experience.
Like, you're not going to learn on what plays to use your cadence and what plays not to use your cadence in a boardroom.
That, just the more you see it, the more you realize why you do it, the better you understand it.
The more you see it, the more you realize why. Yeah, the more you see it in person, the more you feel those negative effects, therefore the more effective the lesson will be.
Have to handle him differently than you handle Daniel, Riley,
Yes.
Jason, like one-on-one.
I mean, I think kind of all, as a coach, you kind of cater to the learning style of each player, but they all
Apparently not.
learn the same information, depending on how they learn is kind of how you present it to each one of them.
Are you convinced that Anthony wants to be here and be a backup quarterback? And the reason
No.
is just a year ago when the Giants moved on from Daniel, he asked to be out of there. And so-
Yeah, I think he wants to be here. Just speaking with him.
His agent does not seem to think so. His agent has said trust has been breached, and he's discussing with Anthony other options.
Just going off his actions in our meetings, and he's locked in and
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's not going to half-ass you guys.
in a good place mentally, and I see no issues with that.
You said he's regressed in the line of scrimmage area. I mean, you guys obviously started him.
No, definitely. I think the opposite. I think he's
You have said he's regressed.
continuing to learn
Not in this interview. You have in the past.
scrimmage and
Okay.
what he sees pre-snap and just all the little things that go into playing the position. He's come a long way, and I've seen growth in that area.
Is it because he's played?
3 years in the system, I guess, along those lines, why do you think he hasn't been able to, seize the opportunity beyond just injuries? I mean, from that operational standpoint.
Yeah, he's
Because you're not good at
a
your
lot
job?
with injuries,
Beyond injuries, he said.
off season, in season, and you say 3 years, but really it's going into year 3.
Beyond injuries. Because apparently these meetings can teach him the things that you yourself has said are learned on the field.
And with a lot of missed reps, but I do want to point out the growth he's had, at the line.
Beyond injuries. Well, he's been injured, but he's improved.
And the presence and just taking the next step mentally as far as next level thinking.
With Daniel and taking shots, when I asked you a couple weeks ago, you said you're pleased with kind of how he's managed when to throw it downfield and when to kind of check it down. Like with a guy who had
He's checked it down every time.
done that a ton with the Giants for whatever reason, what's the process been of just like getting him to that level where you are pleased with him?
I think you have to have him understand the big picture. What he
Winning?
big picture wise, and then
Winning?
just letting him know we're gonna take shots.
Cool, the Giants did too. He's not good at it, and oftentimes can't do it.
Care of him and find completions on these shots. We'll keep.
You can take care of him, but his numbers his percentages just consistently go down the more he has to think. Like, his time with protection is worse than just when he immediately gets out the ball, or like with 2 seconds. Like, it's just absurd.
You'll have ample opportunities. Just we don't
It's
have
not
to
really our
take
line.
shots just to take shots. You know.
With a guy who, like, their offensive line gave a ton of sacks, they didn't have a ton of talent receiver with the Giants. Like, has there been any, like, mental hurdle of, like, no, you can take the shot because we have a receiver who can go downfield, we have the blocking that can keep you upright? Has there been any, like, mental thing with him?
I don't think so. I think it's just built
So yeah, it's built into him to just dink doink offense.
trust through training camp and timing and knowing how to throw to each receiver because each guy has a
Only the ones that are close.
set and you throw to maybe each guy a little differently and have a different mindset when you are taking shots.
When you guys drafted Anthony, obviously the plan was never to get to this point, bench him a second time. So looking back, do you guys feel like, did you fail Anthony? Did he fail you? Did you fail each other?
No, as a position,
You failed Anthony.
you want to see your guys succeed and be
And he hasn't. As a position coach, you're directly over him.
successful naturally and
Look, I'm not going to say Anthony's exempt in any of this, obviously, but just judging off how hard he's worked and how, like, good of a guy he is, and I know the goodness of a heart does not necessarily implicate being a hard worker or imply being a hard worker, but I just don't get it.
I feel like
Like, I genuinely think if he was continuing to work that hard, and I believe he was, you're putting it the wrong direction. You're putting that effort into the wrong direction. He's running into a bit of a brick wall here.
can do,
Oh, so you've done everything. There's nothing you can improve on.
I feel like he's given great effort in that aspect too, and I don't think either way it's one or the other. I just think, right now it's not where the consistency is just not where we want it to be.
So the last 2 years, the decision was made, Richardson's the starter over Minshew, and then Richard.
This is Kenton Sterling, by the way. If you like this, go check out him. He's even, 1,000 times better.
Over Flacco. But this year, not with Daniel Jones, is that more Daniel Jones or is that more Richardson?
Honestly, I think Daniel's done a great job. He's coming here and done.
I take Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, over Daniel Jones any day of the week. Sorry, I'm so tired.
Exactly what we've asked him to do, and he's been consistent.
I guarantee you Joe Flacco was better at those things than Daniel Jones was because he's played longer.
And it truly was a good battle throughout camp.
Why do you all think you can, win with Daniel Jones, considering his career record and some of the issues he's had as well?
Because 2022.
Thinking in terms of things of that nature.
I would say his decision making and the trust with him.
Ow!
Where the ball's in the right spot at the right time, and he's proven it.
Generally not. Unless you think the defender's hands is the right spot for the ball to be in.
Through the spring, OTAs, through training camp, and it's just the consistency. You know what you're getting. You trust the decision making, and then the accuracy has been very good.
So you've got, Daniel is a guy he's got that kind of mental catalog of all these years. There's been patience with Anthony, obviously, to this point. How important is it when it comes down to this decision, go with someone who's just going to orchestrate the system rather than relying on developing a singular player? Like, how much did that go into it?
Yeah, I think you want both. You want to keep developing, obviously, both of them. You want to keep developing and teaching Daniel. Same thing with Anthony.
What a screen to be stuck on there. Yeah, I just don't know, guys. Normally I have something for you, but I don't think I got anything for you. I'm gonna see if I can find where is it? The Chris Ballard interview. Hello, Anthony. I think this is a little bit past. Where's Gus? Or not Gus, Chris. We're not going to do this whole thing, but...
This is Tyler Rowland from the Locked On Titans podcast.
Hello, Tyler.
This message is a paid partnership with Apple Card.
Before.
4 days, and I apologize for having to delay it. Appreciate everybody being here, especially to open it up. Well, look, I don't think we can completely stamp it. We've seen some good things. I mean, we knew I came with some real truths. I mean, you got the truth on what's going on and how things are going, and create real change. I understand completely your frustration, and it's warranted. Look, it's a natural consequence when you don't win. Organizationally, we've got to be able to handle that. I'm still confident in my abilities.
We're not.
Still confident in. I'm grateful. I'm humble. Family has given me for the organization. That floor is yours, and I will answer questions.
Chris, with whoever we got to place, you understand, what other franchise, it's always comes down to the quarterback. What, after 2 years, tells you that he's the guy?
Well, look, I don't think we could completely stamp it. We've seen some good things. I mean, we knew, look, I like Anthony. And Anthony's done some really good things. All right, but there's been some potholes too. I think the number one thing, I mean, let me try to back up a little bit here. We knew when we took him, it was going to be a roller coaster. I don't think I did a very good job. I think I explained it, it's going to take some time, but look, I got excited too about the talent and the wild plays, but now we need the consistency down after down. But the number one thing we have to figure out, and Anthony's got to work through, is staying healthy. Like, you've got to stay, he's got to be able to stay healthy. And that to me is probably the biggest question right now. Now we're going on 2 seasons in a row, you know, where he's right now. Now we're going on 2 seasons in a row. And then number 2, you know, being consistent. Getting a consistent, you know, down after down, play after play, consistency with it, and that takes time.
I know. I said that was not consistent messaging. In this, he's generally referring, at least it's been interpreted as you know, you watch the full thing, it gets brought up a little bit more, as like, you know, completing the short passes, playing consistently well.
One thing you can see with look, we have zero patience as a league with quarterbacks. I mean, you're seeing it throughout the league where guys fail one place and now all of a sudden they're doing really well somewhere else. You know, every quarterback's journey and developmental cycle is different. And, you know, I wish I had a magic wand that could wave it and get them to the top of the peak right away, but that's not realistic. The good news is, you know, even with the back, which we think will be fine, he's going to go into the offseason healthy, all right? Which last season he did, it was rehab. So that's going to give him a chance to work on some things going forward that we think will help going into next season. Now, saying all that, like we can't beat our head against the wall. We've got to have competition at the position.
Fair enough.
Just for the fact that competition makes everybody better, and then 2, he's not proven he can play 17 games.
Also fair.
Just real quick, we'll come back to quarterback, but tell us about your outlook and your philosophy.
And I bet on, look, at the end of the day, what we do, like,
I gotta find a spot where he just stops talking. The guy's a yapper.
Do you guys, if you target whatever, does Louis Miller, has he always been willing still to give you finances to get this?
Yes, Mr. Ursay wants to do He wasn't.
So say that we commit today to sign multiple free agents who can bolster this team like Memphis has.
It is January, what's today? 11?
All right. Anyways, sorry. I thought there was more in the beginning. He might discuss it a little bit further on, but anyways, thank you guys. I love you guys. I hate the Colts, but I love you guys, and I'm very grateful for you. And yeah, hopefully you like this. Let me know if you don't. And yeah, hopefully we'll talk again soon.